Hello, everyone. Today I want to share with you a journey. Not a journey over high mountains or across oceans, but a journey deep within the soul of each of us. Life is a book without a manual, and sometimes we get caught up in chapters full of chaos, ambiguity, or even suffering. But I believe that until you truly understand and apply the important life lessons, changing your life will always remain a distant dream. Let's explore those lessons together. The building blocks of a better version of yourself. Stand firm in your self-worth, the lighthouse in the storm. Life is like a vast ocean, with some days calm, with gentle sunlight reflecting on the surface, but also some days when storms come, sweeping you into towering waves. In those moments, the easiest thing is to let yourself be swept away, caught in the current of expectations, the pressure from family, friends, or society. Have you ever asked yourself, if I spend my whole life trying to please others, who will live my own life? I once knew a girl named Lynn, someone who everyone loved for her warmth and kindness. Lynn was always ready to listen, always putting the needs of others before herself. But this became her greatest burden. She worked herself to exhaustion to meet her family's expectations. She turned down opportunities to follow her dreams simply out of fear of disappointing her friends. And she never dared to say no because she feared being called selfish. One day, Lynn sat quietly in front of a mirror, gazing into her own tired eyes and asked, "When did I lose myself?" She realized that in her effort to please everyone, she had forgotten how to love and cherish herself. The first lesson I want to share with you is, stand firm in your self-worth, like a lighthouse standing tall in the midst of the storm. Don't let the outside noise, praise, criticism, or expectations make you forget what really matters. Take time to ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What makes me feel truly alive? When you find the answer, protect it with all your strength. Separate yourself from distractions, toxic relationships, joyless jobs, or habits that make you stagnant. Not everyone needs you in their lives, and you don't have to be present in everyone's life. When you know who you are and what you deserve, life will no longer be a maze, but a clear path leading you to where you belong. I want to share another story to illustrate this. There was a young man named Nam, someone who always lived according to his family's wishes. His parents wanted him to become a doctor, even though he loved writing and storytelling. Nam tried studying medicine, but every day he felt like he was living in someone else's body. One day, he decided to stop. He told his parents, "I respect your opinion, but I need to live my own life." He started writing books. And even though no one believed he would succeed, his first book became a phenomenon. Nam told me, "When I chose to live according to my own values, everything became clearer. I was no longer afraid." As you can see, standing firm in your self-worth is not selfish. It is a way of respecting yourself and the life you have been given. Don't let anyone make you doubt that. Choose the right people to walk with. Who deserves to be by your side? On the long journey of life, you will meet many people. Some will come in like a refreshing breeze, bringing joy and warmth. But others will be like a storm, leaving behind doubt, pain, and loss. The second lesson I want to share is, choose the right people to walk with you, because the people you choose will shape who you become. I remember a great saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Think about it. If those around you are constantly complaining, always looking at life with a negative eye, or doubting your abilities, how can you rise above it? On the other hand, if you are surrounded by those who believe in you, encourage you, and help you see the light even on the darkest days, then you will have the motivation to soar higher than ever. I once had a close friend named Hung. Hung was a funny person, but he always made me feel small. Every time I shared my dreams or plans, he would laugh and say, "You're dreaming too much. It's not realistic." At first, I thought it was just a joke, but gradually I realized I started doubting myself. I no longer dared to try big things, because Hung's words always echoed in my mind. One day, I decided to distance myself from him, not because I hated him, but because I needed to protect my dreams. Later, I met new friends, people who not only listened, but also encouraged me. It was they who helped me regain my confidence and achieve things I never dared to think of before. Life is like a long train ride. You are the conductor, but not every passenger deserves to stay until the end of the journey. Some people board the train just to enjoy the ride without caring about your destination. Some even sabotage the train with their negativity, with words that hurt you. Don't hesitate to let them off at the next stop. That doesn't mean you are cold or indifferent. It means you are choosing to protect yourself and your journey. Save space for those who share your direction, those who not only see your value, but help you realize it. I want to share another example. There is a woman named Mai, a talented artist who was always looked down upon by her family because she chose the path of art instead of a stable job. Mai had considered giving up, but then she met a group of friends, people who also loved art like she did. They not only supported her, but also helped her organize exhibitions, turning her passion into reality. Mai told me, if it weren't for them, I would have given up long ago. They are my true companions. As you can see, the right people will lift you up, while the wrong ones will pull you down. Choose wisely. Building self-confidence, the power from within. Have you ever felt that you needed someone to say, "You're doing great," in order to believe you are truly good at something? We often seek validation from others, from family, friends, colleagues, or even likes and comments on social media. But the third lesson I want to share is, true confidence doesn't come from praise from others, but from the belief you have in yourself. I once met a young man named Min, who had a natural talent for music. Min could play the guitar and compose songs that anyone who heard would admire. But he was extremely insecure. He feared being ridiculed, afraid of failure, and thought that he wasn't good enough. Min was always waiting for someone, a teacher, a friend, or even a stranger, to tell him that he could step onto the stage. But that day never came. One evening, Min sat alone in his room, staring at his dusty guitar, and asked himself, "If I don't believe in myself, who will?" He decided to make a change. He began practicing every day, not to prove anything to anyone, but to prove something to himself. The first time he performed in front of an audience, he was so nervous that he dropped his guitar. The audience laughed, but Min didn't run away. He picked up his guitar and continued playing, and when the music ended, he received a loud round of applause. From that day on, Min was no longer afraid. Today, he is a beloved musician, not because someone gave him confidence, but because he found it within himself. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build over time. Be brave enough to fail, brave enough to face your fears, because each time you fall, you will learn how to rise stronger. I remember a quote, "You don't have to be good from the start, but you must start to become good." Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for someone to hold your hand and lead you. Walk with your own 2 feet, even if it's just the smallest steps. When you believe in yourself, you not only change the way you see the world, but also change the way the world sees you. I want to share another story to help illustrate this. There was a girl named Lan who had always lived in the shadow of her older sister, a successful person admired by everyone. Lan always thought she wasn't good enough, not smart enough, not beautiful enough. But one day, she decided to try her hand at a short story writing contest, even though she had never written before. Lan was very scared. She feared rejection, she feared comparison, but she still submitted her entry. The result? She didn't win. But her story was praised by the judges for its sincerity and uniqueness. For the first time in her life, Lan felt valuable. Not because someone told her so, but because she dared to try. From then on, she started writing more, and now she is a promising young writer. Lan's confidence didn't come from the award, but from the moment she decided to believe in herself. Friends, don't wait for someone to give you confidence. It's already inside you. You just need to wake it up. Embracing change, stepping outside your comfort zone. If your life hasn't changed, perhaps it's because you haven't changed. We often enjoy comfort, a stable job, even if we don't love it, a familiar routine, even if it doesn't bring joy, a life without challenges, even though it can sometimes be boring. But the fourth lesson I want to share is, excessive comfort is the enemy of progress. You can't expect a different outcome if you keep repeating the same old things. Imagine a tiny seed lying beneath the soil. In order to become a tall tree, it has to break through the hard shell, reach up through the darkness, and face the rain, wind, and harsh sunlight. If the seed just stays still in the earth, it will forever remain a seed, never knowing how high it could have grown. Your life is the same. Change is difficult, sometimes painful, but it is the only way for you to grow, to discover your full potential. I used to be very afraid of change. Many years ago, I had a stable office job, just enough to get by, with fixed hours, no major pressure. But every day, I felt like I was living a life that wasn't mine. I wanted to do something more creative, something more meaningful, but I was afraid of losing that security. I told myself, I'm probably not good enough to start over. I've gotten used to this. Why change and make things hard? But one day, I looked in the mirror and asked myself, is this all I want? Will I live my whole life in regret? I decided to quit my job, learn a new skill, digital content creation, and start over from scratch. At first, I was scared, I doubted myself, and I didn't even have a single viewer on my YouTube channel. But gradually, I learned how to improve, and today, I'm talking to you through this video. If I hadn't dared to change, I might still be sitting in that office, living a dull life. Don't wait for the perfect time to change, because the perfect time never comes. Take action today, even if it's just a small step. Read a new book, learn a new skill, or simply write down your dreams. Each step will take you farther away from stagnation and closer to freedom. I once heard a great quote, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Step outside, even just a little, and you will find that the world is much larger than you imagined. I want to share another story. There was a man named Fong who had worked the same job in a factory for 20 years. Fong didn't enjoy the job, but he was afraid of change because he had grown accustomed to it, and he had a family to support. But one day, the factory closed, and Fong was forced to find a new job. At first, he panicked, but then he decided to learn how to repair cars, a hobby he had neglected in his youth. Fong struggled to start over, but now he owns a small garage, and he told me, if the factory hadn't closed, I probably would never have known I could do this. Change sometimes comes unexpectedly, but if you embrace it, you will see it as an opportunity, not a disaster. Taking responsibility for your life, you are the driver. Blaming others is the easiest thing in the world. When things don't go as planned, we blame our circumstances. I didn't have good opportunities. I don't have enough money. No one helped me. We blame others. It's my parents' fault. It's because my friends betrayed me. It's because my boss is unfair. But the fifth lesson I want to share is, when you blame, you are giving control of your life to someone else. Want to change? Start by taking responsibility. I once knew a man named Tuan. Tuan always complained about his life. His job was bad, his family didn't understand him, and his friends turned their backs on him. Every time I met him, I heard the same complaints. My life is so hard. No one helps me. One day, I asked him, so what have you done to change? Tuan was silent. He had no answer because he had never really taken action. He waited for someone to come and rescue him. A better job falling from the sky, a perfect friend appearing, a miracle happening. But life doesn't work that way. A year later, I met Tuan again, and this time, he was different. He told me he had decided to stop blaming others. He learned to communicate better with his family, found a new job, and repaired broken relationships. He said to me, when I took responsibility, I realized I had more power than I thought. Progress doesn't come from luck or miracles, but from consistent actions and the willingness to change. You can't control everything that happens to you. A storm may come, a loved one may leave, an opportunity may slip away. But you can always control how you react. Stop waiting for someone to save you, because the only one who can do that is you. I want to share another story to illustrate this. There was a girl named Hung who always blamed her family's poor circumstances for not being able to attend university. Hung said, if I were born into a rich family, I would have succeeded by now. But one day, she met a friend in the same situation who had taught herself through books and the internet to become a programmer. That friend told Hung, circumstances don't define who you are, it's what you do with them. Hung started changing. She borrowed books, studied online, and after 3 years, she became a freelance graphic designer with enough income to help her family. Hung told me, I used to think I was a victim, but now I know I'm the one behind the wheel. Friends, don't let your circumstances or others define your life. Take the wheel, because only you can lead yourself to where you want to be. Don't fear failure, the launchpad of success. Failure is a word that everyone fears. We fear being laughed at, losing face, or feeling that we are not good enough. But the sixth lesson I want to share is, failure is not the end. It is a stepping stone to learning and moving forward. I believe that the most successful people in the world are not those who have never failed, but those who have failed the most and didn't give up. Think about Thomas Edison, who tried thousands of times to create the light bulb. Thousands of failures, but he never saw it as a defeat. He once said, "I didn't fail, I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." If Edison had feared failure, if he had stopped after the 100th or 1,000th try, we might still be living in the dark. His failures were not enemies, but teachers, showing him how to improve. I also used to fear failure. When I first started making YouTube videos, my early clips hardly got any views. I thought, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I should just give up. But then I remembered a saying, failure is the mother of success. I decided not to quit. I watched each video again, learned how to edit better, learned how to tell stories more engagingly. Gradually, my channel started getting views, then followers, and now I'm talking to you. If I had feared failure and stopped, I wouldn't be where I am today. Failure teaches you things that success never can. It awns you, makes you stronger, wiser. Every time you fail, you get one step closer to success. If you don't dare to fail, you will never dare to dream big. And if you don't dream big, you will never achieve anything great. I want to share another story. There was a young man named Koa who once dreamed of opening a small coffee shop. Koa borrowed money, put in the effort, but his shop failed after only 3 months because it had no customers. He was devastated, thinking he would never succeed. But then he decided to try again. He learned from his mistakes, chose a better location, improved the quality of his drinks, and created a more unique atmosphere. His second shop not only succeeded, but became a popular spot in the city. Koa told me, "The first failure was the best lesson I ever had. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have known how to get back up." Friends, don't fear failure. See it as a friend, a teacher, a launch pad that brings you closer to your dreams. Set high goals, think big, act boldly. Finally, the seventh lesson I want to share is never limit yourself with small goals. Set big goals, goals so big they scare you, but also excite you. If you set goals that are too small, you might achieve them, but you will never know how far you can go. On the other hand, if you set big goals, even if you fail, you will still achieve results that far exceed others' expectations. I once heard a great saying, "Aim for the moon. Even if you don't reach it, you will land among the stars." This means that if you think big and act boldly, you will never fail completely. I remember the story of a boy named Long, a child from a poor village who always dreamed of becoming an astronaut. People laughed at him, saying it was an impossible dream, that he should choose a more practical job. But Long didn't give up. He studied hard, overcame all difficulties, and eventually he flew into space as an aerospace engineer. That big dream not only changed his life, but also inspired millions of others. I also set a big goal for myself, to build a YouTube channel with thousands of followers. At first, I thought it was impossible, but I kept trying. There were days I failed, days I wanted to give up, but I didn't lower my goal. And today, I am here, talking to you, the people who helped me turn that dream into reality. Think big, act boldly, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Life is yours, and only you have the right to decide how great it will be. I want to share one final story. There was a woman named Ngok who once thought she could only do an ordinary job to support her family. But one day, she decided to set a bigger goal, to start a small business producing handmade goods. She had no experience, no large capital, but she had faith. She learned, worked day and night, and after 5 years, her business not only succeeded but also exported products abroad. Ngok told me, "If I hadn't dared to dream big, I would never have known I could do these things." Friends, don't limit yourself. Set high goals, and no matter the outcome, you will still be proud of having dared to try. Conclusion: the journey of change starts with you. Dear friends, changing your life is not easy, but it is completely possible if you are willing to learn and live by these 7 lessons. Stand firm in your self-worth, choose the right people to accompany you, build self-confidence, embrace change, take responsibility, don't fear failure, and set high goals. Life doesn't wait for anyone, but it is always ready to open new doors for those who dare to step forward. Start today. You don't need to become a perfect version of yourself right away, because the perfect version of you is the one who is ready to learn, grow, and change. Every small step you take today will lead you to greater things tomorrow. I believe you can do it, and I hope this story will be a breeze of encouragement on your journey. Thank you for listening, for spending your precious time with me to explore these lessons. If you found this video meaningful, please leave a comment, share it with your loved ones, and don't forget to hit the follow button so we can meet again in the next journeys. Wishing you a day full of energy and meaning. See you soon.